The very first game for Clemson football is in the books. They win 41-10 over Georgia Tech. But there's a lot of chaos after last night's performance. If you're brand new here, welcome to the Not Bobby Durkins channel. I'm Brian Knight, not Bobby Durkins. I appreciate so many people who came from the Bobby Durkins channel. You've subscribed here, very kind words, and I appreciate it. So if you're new here, most likely you are, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. So everybody knew that the defense was going to be world class. We knew that. And they were. They came out, they killed it, they looked incredible. The only reason they gave up that one touchdown to Georgia Tech was because it was a lot like last year. They'd been on the field so much they were tired. If you continue to let anyone consistently have a shot at scoring or getting yardage, and you're facing 3 and outs and weird turnovers and snaps over the head, which that should have been an under center snap, and DJ should have fell forward and got the half yard with his 6'4" body. I don't know why they won't put him under center. Of course you're going to give up a touchdown. So there we go. The defense looked incredible. So kudos to them. Wes Goodwin. I heard that there were some people who was taking a shot at him at a couple of packages that he ran. Let me tell you this. You're not going to make a perfect call every time. I love Brent Venables. Y'all, I'm sorry. My nose is itching like crazy. I don't know what. Maybe I'm having some type of allergic reaction because I'm frustrated with the game last night. But Wes Goodwin is the least of our worries right now. Defense looked great. Leave him alone. Stop picking at a scab, because Brent Venables, he had his times where, I mean, he couldn't stop certain teams at times, because his offense was his offensive side of his team was turning over the ball, not moving the ball, going 3 and out. And then he was supposed to send his team out there and stop them. So I lay off of Wes Goodwin. And before I go any farther about the quarterback situation, I want to give a first disclaimer. DJ is someone's kid. I'm not just taking a shot at this guy. All right, just to like be mean or shock value or anything like that. I respect him as an individual. This is pure football analysis. He did not play bad last night. He didn't. He actually threw some pretty doggone good passes, which his receivers dropped. At the level of Clemson football, the passes that were dropped last night is unacceptable. Antonio Williams, the kid out of Dutch Fork, that speed threat, number 0. I thought that was cool too, these number 0. Kid looked ridiculous. Davis Allen catching the pass, adjusting his body in the air. That looked incredible. But DJ didn't look comfortable. He doesn't look like he is comfortable in this system. The way he goes through his reads is almost like he doesn't know the playbook. Like, you've seen quarterbacks who's been thrown into a situation where they kind of know the playbook, but they really don't, so they're having to, instead of snapping them on and saying, oh, he's going to be open, or he's going to be open, they're kind of like looking, hesitating. That's what I saw last night. And then they're trying to run the guy. And I don't care if he has lost 20, 25 pounds, whatever it may be. The guy is not built to run that type of offense. So stop calling that quarterback keeper and stuff like that. It doesn't work for him. Call things that are going to make him look good and he's going to be comfortable with, if you're going to put him out there. So he didn't do a terrible job, but we all know if you are a football mind, if you're someone who, no matter who your team is, you can still tell the truth to yourself and to your fans, your co-fans, you know that would not get the job done against NC State. Syracuse looked pretty good over the weekend. Florida State looked better. Notre Dame looked much better than what everybody thought. Cristobal is the best hire that Miami has bumped their head and made since Butch Davis in the late 90s. I mean, think about that. They're doing better. I know it was a win over Bethune-Cookman, but I am telling you, Cristobal's going to be tough to play. Look at Oregon. Oregon lost a lot when they lost him. That performance last night was not going, it will not get the job done. But there was one thing that's driving me crazy more than anything. And I want you to follow me here. Clemson fans opposing football teams to Clemson, who will have to play them, and then the country as a whole cannot, and listen to me very closely, cannot unsee Cade Klubnik's performance last night. We can't forget about it. We can't close our eyes and go, I didn't see that. It's like walking in on your grandma taking a shower. You may beg God to remove that from your mind. You may wish that you could go back in time. You would pay anything not to see that. But it happened, and you saw it. There will be no explaining away if we lose a ball game because we continue to put someone on the field who just, might need to change a position. Maybe they need to go to another team that's not going to try to run them as a running quarterback. He's not a running quarterback. Call plays that are going to complement him. Don't run him. I know it takes away your RPO, but here's the sad thing. You have a guy behind him who can run the RPO and run it well. So you're paid tons of money to make the right decision. At least mix it up with Cade and DJ. You owe it to the team. Now, I want to pause here and give a disclaimer. There's a lot of people who comes on the Bobby Durkins channel, people who every now and again I'll haphazardly run into, and they know I do the whole sports thing. They'll talk to me and they'll go, but you got to remember, Dabo's did so much for Clemson. He's best thing that's ever happened to Clemson since the color orange. And I agree with you. But why is it, and I want you to answer this for me, why is it that you can't just say, hey, look, we love you, coach, but you need to start Klubnik? Why is it that you can't say that? Why is it that when you do say that, all of a sudden it's like you're dealing with a little kid? And I'm not saying this about Sweeney, but I'm saying the reaction of some of the Clemson fans and Clemson publications who are going, but he could leave and he could be gone. You're telling me that just simply saying start the guy who looked incredible is enough for us to start backpedaling and going, well, I guess he'll just leave. He'll just take his ball and go home. That is the most ridiculous line of thinking and type of logic that I encounter. Just because someone is really good at something, and just because someone has done a lot, does not mean that they're infallible. Does it mean that they don't make bad moves? It doesn't mean. This is not the first time Sweeney has been in this situation. You know it, I know it. Kyle Parker was struggling. Taj Boyd was sitting on the bench. Cole Stout, they tried to run a different offense with Cole Stout. They were trying to run the same offense as they did with Boyd. And Deshaun Watson was sitting behind him. Remember that? Remember the first two passes of Watson's career was against Georgia. He diced them up like tomatoes. Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence. Folks, this is not the first rodeo here. So I don't want Sweeney to leave. I'm not disregarding everything that he's done for the school, but for everybody out there who gets into this line of thinking, it's like, yeah, you definitely want us to go back to those Gator Bowl years where we were losing it to Donovan McNabb and Syracuse 41-0. No, I don't. No, it shouldn't be an all or nothing sort of thing. It's like, I can't criticize the guy. Like you can't look at him and say, man, you're incredible. All you have to do is start that genius over there. Like you don't appreciate it. It's so extreme. It's such an extreme. It's like getting into a car and you're like freezing, or not freezing cold, you're just kind of a little chilly. All of a sudden you reach over there to the air conditioning. You turn it up hotter than hot, and it's like, man, I mean, I was cool, but now, man, I'm sweating. It's like, make your mind up, and then you turn it on ice cold. That is what we're treating this like. It's not logical. I think the world of Sweeney. I'm thankful we're not losing games. But folks, we're going to lose games if we don't make this one little tweak. And that's at least work in Klubnik. Get him comfortable. We play Furman this Saturday. We got La Tech the very next week. We play Wake Forest, and from what I understand, I could be wrong, but from what I understand, Hartman's not going to be there. I know his replacement played well against Virginia military, but we're not VMI. So, have fun with that. We have ample time to get Klubnik acclimated, gelled with his team, gelled with his receivers routes, with his offensive line. And here's the thing on the offensive line. This guy is so shifty, and he is so gifted and energetic and agile, he can extend play. So when you have a questionable offensive line, you need a guy like that to be able to move around. What part of this is so hard? If you don't want to take away the starting position from DJ, at least put Cade out there for half the time. I know that nobody, well, most people, basically nobody, really likes what Jim Harbaugh's doing with McCarthy and McNamara. But he told one, you're going to start game one, play the whole game, and you're going to start game two. At least that's a plan of action. Here, we literally sat till what, the 5-minute mark yesterday? At one time, it's 14-10. Our defense, our special teams had to block 2 punts. Folks, that shouldn't have been that way against Georgia Tech. Yes, we won by 31 points. It feels like a loss. And the frustration that I have is that anyone who criticizes the decision to not at least incorporate Cade on half the snaps somehow doesn't appreciate what Sweeney's done, or somehow wants him gone, or somehow thinks that we should fire. None of that. That's like talking to a 5-year-old and telling a 5-year-old, hey, don't do that. And it's like, you don't love me anymore. You hate me. You want another kid. That's the type of mentality. I hate that crap. I'd rather have a conversation with a doorknob. At least a doorknob will tell me that it's a doorknob by not responding. And I am just ticked about this. I'm serious, y'all. My nose was not itching like this before I went on here. I think it's a nervous twitch or something. Maybe I'm having a nervous breakdown. I don't know. If you don't see me on here anymore, you know what happened. This is sad. This is annoying because Tiger fans knows what's going to happen. If we are lucky, Cade will be named the starter for the NC State game or take the majority of the snaps. He takes them. I watched NC State. They did not beat Eastern Carolina. Eastern Carolina beat Eastern Carolina. Remember last year when the NC State beat Clemson? NC State did their very best to lose that game. Very best to lose that game. And they messed up and won. If you're a Wolfpack fan, you're like, no, that's not what happened. Go back and watch it. Go back and watch the highlights. You played dumb ball. We played dumb ball. Our defense was out there way too long. Shipley got hurt. I think Brissy got hurt in that game. We all have this sick feeling in our stomach because we know what we're having to sit here and wait on. Will Sweeney do what he needs to do? Speaking of Will Sweeney, did you see Sweeney's kid catch the ball last night? I think that's Will. I get them all mixed up. Y'all forgive me. But it was Sweeney's kid last night. That pass that Klubnik threw to him, did you see the top window? It was outrageous. What a pass. I don't care if it was against Georgia Tech's 10th string. That was an outrageous pass. I really don't know what to watch. But I will say this to any team who is watching Clemson. You're kind of chuckling right now. First of all, I don't blame you to a point. But you can't forget that last drive either, too. Because if that kid plays quarterback for us and you have to play us, unless something happens to him, he has an aneurysm on the toilet or something nuts happens to him, you have to play him. You have to play that energy. You have to play that guy who had such leadership. The team rallied around him. You have to play him. Yeah, of course you don't want him to start. Of course you're chuckling now. Why? Because you're hoping he doesn't start. Because if he does, you've got problems. I didn't guarantee a win. I'm just saying I don't care who it is. If you have to play against Klubnik and his team rallies around him, and I believe they definitely will, even with that terrible offensive line or up and down offensive line play, you got a problem. Well, I'm going to maybe take some Benadryl or something because I'm itching, or maybe go see a doctor because maybe I am losing it and I'm just itching now. But I want to be very, very clear. This can be fixed by simply at least incorporating Klubnik in half the drives. And I think we're going to see an outrageously good football team if that happens. Well, once again, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. I'll obviously check out Bobby Durkins if you don't already know Bobby Durkins. And also, if you want to support the Bobby Durkins channel, not Bobby Durkins channel, I'll leave a link below to where you can actually subscribe, become a Durkins family member. That's right, Durkins family member, and some other stuff I'm going to be adding and building that base as well. I'm Brian Knight. Thank you for joining me on Not Bobby Durkins. Take a deep breath. I'll see you next time. Go Tigers.